স্যার আজকে আপনাকে অনেকবার চেষ্টা করেছিলাম, কোনো মতে পেলাম না স্যার।
না তার কারণ আমি তো তোমাদের না বলা আছে কি ওখানে ওমেন্স প্রোগ্রাম ছিল, ঠিক আছে, আর সকাল থেকে একের পর এক মিটিং চলছে, মেরিনদের ফ্যাকাল্টি, এগ্রিকালচারের ফ্যাকাল্টি, মানে যত মানে এরা সেই সত্যজিৎ রায়ের কথা, এরা যত বেশি পড়ে তত বেশি জানে, তত কম মানে।
স্যার আজকে আপনাকে অনেকবার চেষ্টা করেছিলাম, কোনো মতে পেলাম না স্যার।
বুঝতে পেরেছো? না তার কারণ আমি তো বলা আছে কি দেখা যায় ওমেন্স কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, আসুক সব।
হ্যাঁ স্যার। স্যার একদিন আমি যে আপনার সঙ্গে দেখা করব।
হ্যাঁ শিওর শিওর শিওর, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
এটা তো বোধহয় এডুকেশন ইউনিভার্সিটিও আসবে, আমাকে যা বলেছিল মানে আমাদের সোমা, যে এডুকেশন ইউনিভার্সিটির লোকজনও আর কি পার্টিসিপেট করবে। ঠিক আছে, দেখা যাক, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
অমরেন্দু, ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর কোথায়? ভাইস চ্যান্সেলরকে বলো ম্যাডামকে আসতে, মানে 15 মিনিট তো হয়ে গেল। অমরেন্দু, শুনতে পাচ্ছে আমার কথা? হ্যাঁ দেখো, বলো ম্যাডামকে যে এসে জয়েন করেন। অমরেন্দু, আনমিউট করে দেখো, মানে ম্যাডামকে বলো একটু, ঠিক আছে?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ স্যার, আমি বলছি স্যার।
বলো।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Hello, Aparajita, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So should we start?
Here? Honorable Vice Chancellor, Nevatia University. Is he here?
Yes, he's here.
হ্যাঁ, আমি আছি।
Good evening, sir. Very good evening, sir.
হ্যাঁ, very good evening.
And extremely sorry, I just entered home, Okay.
No.
Yeah. Aparajita, please start.
Okay. So with your permission, ma'am, let's start the evening's proceedings. So officially, good evening, my DHWU family, especially our girls, our students, and our esteemed guest today, whom we have here. Fortunately, he has wriggled time out of his very busy schedule to be with us over here. I am Professor Aparajita Hajra, your host for tonight. Right at the outset, I extend my heartiest and warmest wishes for a very meaningful Women's Day. We've had a wonderful day in the university today, and this is just a sequel to that, the online sequel to that. Before saying anything, let me just, read out a poem to you, which is a poem by Sigmund Freud. And the poem is about how girls are caged. But I think, because of the paucity of time, I leave out the poem. I wanted to read out the poem for you because it's a poem about how a girl is killed metaphorically and caged inside the different bastions of society. Well, we have been striving to figure out a way towards equality for ages now. It's a tad saddening that we still have to talk about our issues in a bid to straighten out the problems of marginalization and othering of women. The more we try to problematize the discourse of gender discrimination, the more we understand, to our chagrin, that the issues of inequity have, been grilled into our existence by years and years of social conditioning. The post-structuralist semiotician, Julia Kristeva, she talks about the performativity of gender. Society, like the Foucauldian panopticon, decides roles for us, for different genders. And we are just expected to perform those roles that kind of like pre-exist us. And in this allocation, women, unfortunately, got the insides of the house in her share, while the world outside got allocated to the male bastion. It opened up to the male part of the world. Women were relegated to reproduction, while production became a male bastion. Might have been spurred in the first place by mores of convenience, maybe, but slowly, the insidious tentacles of force and coercion, something that one of our, esteemed guests from the police department was talking about today in the morning too. Force and coercion, very insidiously, it came into play. And women had no choice but to stay at home and play second fiddle. Women were robbed of their choices and their agency. So slowly, the contrapuntal movements began in the name of feminism to win back what was originally ours. Proto-feminism came in, and that led to the waves of feminism in history. The basic bottom line, of feminism is not for women to stay ahead of men or hate them. It is not about, it is all about rather not staying behind. It is all about not being told what to do. It is about having agency over our own lives. It is all about making our own choices. We just want to stay abreast of the male part of the world, beside them as individuals, as human beings, capable in our own ways. The good thing is the world is waking up to the discourse of feminism, but still we feel that there's a long way to traverse. But hope does spring eternal in the human breast, as Alexander Pope would say, doesn't it? So we still go on celebrating Women's Day in a dogged effort to make ourselves heard, in an effort to celebrate ourselves. And in that process, it becomes a heartwarming feel-good factor of bonhomie to see examples of strong women who have made it really big in life through sheer grit, gumption, intelligence, and merit. I now wish to invite to the center stage one such woman whose achievements leave you with no choice but to admire her. She has written 32 books. She has 15 translated books, 121 research articles to her name, 171 lectures and presidential addresses. She has umpteen awards to her name, like Sahitya Academy Award, Prayag Sahitya Sammelan Award, Meera Shriti Samman Award, Aparajita People's Choice Award, Bhasha Samman Award, Raj Bhasha Gaurav, Special Academician Awards, Best Educationist Award, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Award, Ekale Dronacharya Award, which was conferred her just a few days ago, Professor K.M. Lodha Award, etc., etc. She has been to numerous countries to deliver valuable lectures and talks. She's a poet par excellence and a linguist too. And all this she has done after ably carrying out her duties in super responsible posts like the Vice Chancellor of West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Education Planning and Administration, the Vice Chancellor of Sanskrit University, the Director of Indian Institute of Social Welfare and Business Management, the Director of Women's Studies Research Center in Calcutta University, where she has also worked as registrar. Folks, I'm talking about none other than our very own Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Shoma Bandyopadhyay, an enormously dynamic and distinguished achiever. She is a veritable epitome of women's empowerment. We should all be inspired, and this I'm telling my students out there on the other side of the screen, that we should all be inspired by this lady and take a page out of her book. So without further ado, here I give you Professor Shoma Bandyopadhyay, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university. Ma'am, over to you, please, for a few words.
Thank you very much, Aparajita Madam, for your kind words of appreciation. Anyway, it is because of you, that I am there. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Nevatia University, Professor Vishwajit Ghosh, registrars from both the universities, deans, officers, members of my academic fraternity, and dear Aparajita Madam, and my dear students, a very good evening to all of you. Women's Day is celebrated around the world every year to embed an idea of the importance of women, as Aparajita Madam has already told you. On this International Women's Day, as usual, various seminars, programs are being arranged almost everywhere to signify the presence and importance of women, especially to spread the message of gender equality and work together in making a better society where there is no gender bias. This year, the United Nations declared the theme of the day as Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Future Tomorrow. Recently, a program with this same topic was organized under the banner of United Nations Development Program with the aim to raise awareness with regards to several issues like equipping young women for challenges and opportunities in non-traditional roles, and of course, career paths. The importance of creating an ecosystem to promote non-traditional aspirations for young women, etc. So with the same motto, we have also organized this webinar today. Of course, this is the sequel to the morning's program, as Aparajita Madam has already announced. And that is why this evening we have invited Honorable Vice Chancellor of Navetia University, Professor Vishwajit Ghosh, renowned scientist and a dynamic administrator, to address our students from both the universities, that is Diamond Harbour Women's University, as well as West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Education Planning and Administration. I'm sure our students will be highly benefited and enriched with Professor Ghosh's deliberation, and I thank Professor Ghosh for his kind acceptance of our invitation. Now, as she has already highlighted, Aparajita Madam, that International Women's Day is celebrated every year with huge enthusiasm around the world to celebrate the achievements of women in social, political, economic, and other fields of life. And today, women rule almost in every field of life and work at par with men. We cannot deny that, be it at home or at work, they do it all with so much zeal and ace in each one of it in their own way. And this way, women are the real architects of the society. They build not only themselves, but a whole community. Yet history has failed the woman many a time to represent what a woman can be. There cannot be just a day to celebrate a woman. Every day should be a day where we respect the divinity of women. Now, International Women's Day, as everybody knows, I'm not telling something new, was observed in 1911, 8 March, to put forward and express an idea to the world that each gender deserves to be treated as equal. And the day was aimed to present the aspects of the life of women in a man's world, to create changes in the mindset of the world, and to create a positive impact on the world. But then why do we need a Women's Day? There is a need to celebrate a Women's Day because women are often subjected to preconceived perceptions of what they can do and what they cannot. They face biased behavior of people, and statistics show that education availability for women is still lower than a men. Every 4 out of 5 women faces harassment at one point in her life. They are so many times likely to be a victim of domestic violence and sexual abuse in childhood. More than 30,000 girls are forced into child marriage every single day, and others get subjected to illegal trafficking and female genocides. Pay according to the gender continues, and men are still allowed to make major decisions about women like abortion, etc. In addition to this, other persisting factors still go unrecognized. So we clearly need a day to start conversations and open agendas that need global attention. The journey of women from protesting on the streets to making the world celebrate International Women's Day was not at all an easy one. We celebrate this day today only because of the historical footsteps of great women who actually fought for their rights. Women activism, or can say the fight of women to attain equal rights, dates back to the late 1800s, when the women of that time was fighting to get the rights to vote for the leader of their choice. Also, there was a demand for the right of women to work and be a part of various training programs. But till the time, the voice of women was treated inconsiderately. Women were not let put their point and have a say about anything from politics to economics. They were not even allowed to speak at conferences or seminars, etc. So the first campaign in the journey of providing equal rights to women started on 20th February 1908, and all women strike by the garment workers against the working conditions these women were subjected to. It started with a basic labor movement, but then the voices of those women left a mark at the beginning of a journey of self-respect. It was only during the era of 1970s that the long fight for women's rights became impactful enough to create an intensified movement. With the uprise of the new era in the new millennium, the focus shifted to the organizations and made them more adaptive of women employees. Women were everywhere, in industries, in science, in politics, in educational institutions. There were women conferences, and this all-women network hugely enhanced with time. The world progressed, the new visions were adapted, and a different insight was given to place. Then major companies started to include female workforce and diversify the organizations, breaking the gender stereotypes and biases. It was only due to the constant efforts of the women community which paved the path for the acceptance of the other diversified genders also. Now, women today definitely live in a better world than the women belonging to the history. But there are still, are things that need to be addressed. Despite all the efforts still today, an average woman spends double time working as compared to the men, unpaid. They face atrocities of rapes and intimidation for achieving what they truly desire. So, my dear students, in spite of having reached the topmost positions, the abilities of women are often, questioned. A section of the society also is not ready to accept the fact that the woman has scaled the heights because of her capability and not because of her gender. Now, today, movements like Me Too have created a mass movement where each woman stands up equal to a man without any fear. Women are empowered to say, and many women are now in the lead roles, but there are still others who get neglected. Women in different areas of life still feel judged negatively and are largely influenced by the responsibility of caregiving. I believe that initial fear and the hurdles are common in career and life, but we enjoy the steep becoming curve where we learn to nurture a deep sense of passion for motivating and educating ourselves to take the educational journey forward. The passion we have for building, creating, and learning continues to outpace any adversity we face. Our challenges have always become more of an opportunity to learn, and I consider it as our real strength. Remember, we must not ever take no for an answer and must not ever give up. You see, it doesn't matter what you plan. That is, you just need to be willing to get off the merry-go-round and find a sustainable way forward. Life is naturally divided into, various roles into multiple roles for women. Beyond their individual responsibilities in family life, their contributions to education are commendable. I firmly believe that women are designed to overcome any challenge they are confronted with, and I do not see anything that can be an issue for them. Rather, they can turn any obstacle that comes in their way to opportunities for growth. The women community is rich with possibilities, capabilities, and opportunities in this world. All women have to realize that they are the superheroines whom the world is looking for and live their lives to the fullest, regardless of their background. I celebrate womanhood and wish all who are present here, all my dear ladies, a very, very happy Women's Day. Today, this International Day, let us show our appreciation, respect, and love to all the incredible women in our lives, be it your mother, your wife, or daughter. Let us show that we are proud of their efforts and pledge to create a world where women do not have to face any affliction. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Madam, for that inspiring speech. We are really honored to have you as our Vice Chancellor, Madam. Today, our guest speaker in this session is Professor Vishwajit Ghosh, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the New India University. We are indeed proud to have you with us, sir. Sir is a renowned scientist. He has been honored with the Shikha Ratna for his outstanding contribution as a teacher. He has also been honored with DSC for his outstanding contribution in the field of science, engineering, and education. Sir has obtained DSc for his pioneering work in his contribution in engineering science. He has also been the former postdoctoral researcher at Stuttgart University of Germany, and the list goes on and on. We are really privileged to have with us such a renowned scientist. We are all eager to hear from you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Indrani Ghosh. Respected Madam Vice Chancellor, respected Madam Vice Chancellor, respected Registrar Sir, and respected teachers, my dear students. I know you, all of you, and today we are going to celebrate the International Women's Day. It's a very good effort from your side, and it's a effort from all the women, because in our university we are also celebrating this Women's University. Last year we could not conduct it because of the pandemic situation, but before that, 2019, Manovi Bandyopadhyay, she's the principal. She delivered a lecture, the rights and privilege, need for the women. That's it. That's the topics. I just wanted permission from Madam Vice Chancellor, also as Madam Indrani Ghosh. Sometimes I can use also Bengali, because mother tongue is such a thing that you can reach to the heart of the people.
Sure, sir.
Sure, sir. Please, sir.
If you have any problem, then I can start both English and and I will show you one of the slides here that I have prepared for you. Right now, first thing I like to share that what is water. If you ask someone water, what is water, and if you ask the water, different people has different answer. If you ask a chemist what is water, he or she will tell it's an oxide of hydrogen. It's H2O. It's a neutral oxide. If you ask a geologist what is water, he or she will tell it is a fluid which covers 2/3 part of the world. If you ask a plant scientist what is water, he or she will tell it's a fundamental component of life. Without water, there should not be any cell division. Life could not come if there is no water. If you ask a philosopher what is water, he or she will tell the drops when falls on river or lake disappears. When it falls on a flower, regenerate the honey or nectar. When it condenses the tip of the grass is glitter. When it falls on a oyster, it regenerate the pearl, and which bring beauty of ladies. If you ask me, sir, what is your water? I can tell that every drop containing the potential energy, mgh, in physics, and if you allowed it to fall in a, prime mover, you convert it to kinetic energy. To me, water is a carrier of energy. You are all water. You are all mother. You are giving the source of energy. You are giving the source of inspiration. Why I am telling it? Because this can be represented by mathematically. I am giving a simple example. All you know that what is the formula for a plus b whole square? You will simply tell me that a square plus 2ab plus b square. I will tell no. To me, it is a square plus b square. I am correct or I am wrong. You just say you are wrong. So I just justify myself that you are telling a square plus 2ab plus b square. I am telling that a square plus b square means, to me, 2ab term is 0. Right? 2 cannot be 0. A cannot be 0, then we will not get a square. B cannot be 0, then we will not get b square. But why? In my case, a plus b whole square is a square plus b square. I am giving the logic. If A is an acid and B is an alkaline, if you mix the acid and alkali, it's become water. There's no property of acid or alkaline. Look, I'm giving an example. You are looking towards the mirror. The mirror image will tell your left become right, right become left. You are approaching towards the mirror and set up yourself with the image. What will get? Neil, you cannot see it? Can we not think this way? Can we not perceive some idea this way? Look at here. If A is a matrix, 0, 1 matrix, and B is a 1, 0 matrix, if you multiply A and B, you get a null matrix, 0. So A can be represented in terms of that thing, 0 and 1, and B can be represented 1, 0. 1 is another, image particle. What is 0? If you say A plus 0, no change, is A. A minus 0, no change, A. A into 0, 0. A divided by 0, infinity. A to the power 0 is equal to 1. Go for 1. A plus 1, increasing. A minus 1, decreasing. A into 1, A. A divided by 1, A. A to the power 1 is equal to A. See their role. You see, in the family, mothers are the 0. Mothers are the operator. Mothers can fulfill. Mothers can make infinite. Mothers can make complete. Full means 1. Mothers can also make 0. But in the males, they are adding the income or extracting the income. So this is the situation that we have translated into machine learning, and we develop the computer. Computer doesn't know anything except 0 and 1. That's why in Bengali, the people has quoted, Sangsar Sundar Hoy Ramonir Gune. You can see the role of a woman in our Bengali. This is my, the first presentation in terms of the women, and I pay respect all the women today. Look, women's right has come out in many ways. I am a secretary of a school since 1998. This name of the school is, Murudhar Girls High School, is number 4 Hindustan Road, and many, remarkable women has come out from this institution. And school was established by the Lady of Balabosu, the wife of Jagadish Chandra Bosu. The aim was that in South Calcutta there is no, school for the girls. So they made a club called the Baligan Shikha Samiti, and they approached to Murudhar girls, Murudhar Bandyopadhyay. They donated the house, and the house was converted into Murudhar Girls High School in 1909. We have celebrated the century, and in century we have published one journal. That that is called a Sharok Puttika, and I put a writing there. The title of the writing is Bhapna. What is Bhapna? What is the thinking? I am thinking. I am presenting in a very very emotional way that I am presenting the thinking, the speech between the glass and water. Means in our systems, the guardians are always thinking that patrostha kora, মেয়েদেরকে বিয়ে দেওয়া, আর্লি এডুকেশন, পাত্রস্থ করা। কি প্রবলেম? পাত্রস্থ করা। পাত্রস্থ করা মানে আমি যদি একটা লিকুইডকে পাত্রে রাখি, সে পাত্রের আকার ধারণ করে। তা আমার চিন্তাধারা ছিল যে কনভারসেশন বিটুইন, তার অনেক ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড আছে। আমি ম্যাডামকে ভাইস চ্যান্সেলরকে পাঠিয়ে দেবো বা দিয়ে আসবো একদিন। এতে আমার লেখাটা ভাবনা লেখা। একটা গ্লাসের সঙ্গে একটা জলে কনভারসেশন হচ্ছে। গ্লাসটা জলকে বলছে, তুমি তো আমার মধ্যে আছো, তুমি তো আমার আকার ধারণ করেছো। তুমি যদি বাটিতে থাকতে বাটির মতন হতে, তুমি যদি কলসি থাকতে কলসির মতন হতে। সুতরাং আমার ইনস্ট্রাকশন তোমাকে চলতে হবে। জল বলছে, তা কেন হবে? আমার কোনো স্বাধীনতা নেই। তো বলছে, কেন? স্বাধীনতা তো লোকে কথাবার্তায় বলে, ওসব জলো কথা, স্বাধীন কোনো গল্প নেই। কিন্তু জল বলছে যে দেখো, আমি তোমার মতন একটা বস্তু, তুমি যেমন একটা বস্তু, কাঁচের বস্তু, আমিও তোমার মতন জলের বস্তু। আমারও স্বাধীনতা প্রয়োজন আছে। তোমার যেমন প্রয়োজন আছে, আমার তুমি প্রয়োজন আছে। আমি তোমার মধ্যে আনি পূর্ণতা। আমি যদি না থাকতাম, তুমি পূর্ণ হতে না। জল না থাকলে তুমি এমটি হয়ে যেতে। সেই জন্য তুমি আমার স্বাধীনতা দাও। আমি তোমার মধ্যে থাকবো স্বচ্ছ ক্রিস্টাল হয়ে, যেখান থেকে আলোকিত হবে। তুমি পাবে পূর্ণতা, আমি দেবো আলোক, এবং সেই আলো নিয়ে জগৎ সংসার দেখাবে মাকে। এবং এইটা মায়ের যে ডেফিনেশন, এটা রবীন্দ্রনাথের, হয়তো আপনারা অনেকেই পড়েছেন, রবীন্দ্রনাথের গান্ধারী আবেদন কবিতা। আমি কয়েকটা লাইন আপনাদেরকে বলছি, আপনারা মনে করতে পারেন। রবীন্দ্রনাথ গান্ধীর আবেদন কবিতায় বলছেন, গান্ধারী বলছে রবীন্দ্রনাথকে, ধৃতরাষ্ট্রকে, যে তুমি পিতা নও, তুমি রাজা। তোমার ছেলে দুর্যোধন অন্যায় করছে, মেয়ের প্রতি অবিচার করছে, তুমি তাকে শাসন করো। কারণ তুমি যদি তোমার ছেলেকে শাসন না করতে পারো, তা তুমি অন্য ছেলেকে শাসন করতে পারো না, কারণ সে বাবাও তো কষ্ট পাবে। তুমি যেমন বাবা বলছো, ধৃতরাষ্ট্র বলছেন অন্ধ আমি অন্তরে বাহিরে চিরকাল, আমি চোখে অন্ধ দেখতে পাই না, অন্তরে অন্ধ পুত্র স্নেহ অন্ধ। গান্ধারী বলছেন সঙ্গে সঙ্গে মাতা আমি নহি, গর্ভভার ও জর্জরিত জাগ্রত হৃৎপিণ্ডে তরে বহি নাই তারে, মোর হাসি হতে হাসি, বাণী হতে বাণী, প্রাণ হতে প্রাণ, আমি কষ্ট পাবো না। তবু বলছি তুমি পানিশমেন্ট দাও, বিকজ ইউ ফুলফিল ইউর রেসপন্সিবিলিটি, ইউ আর এ কিং, ইউ আর নট এ ফাদার অ্যাট দ্যাট when you are sitting on a throne. তারপর বলছেন মায়ের যন্ত্রটা কেমন জানো, বলছে দেখো ভেদ নীতি কূটনীতি পুরুষের নীতি পুরুষেরা জানে, আমরা থাকি দূর অন্তঃপুরে গৃহকর্ম লয়ে, কিন্তু সেদিন যখন অনাথিনী পাঞ্চালীর আর্ত কণ্ঠরব পাষাণ প্রাসাদ ভীতি করে দিল দ্রব, লজ্জা ঘৃণা করুণার তাপে ছুটি গিয়া হেরেনু গোবাক্ষে, তার বস্ত্র আকর্ষিয়া খল খল হাসিতেছে গান্ধারীর পুত্র পিশাচেরা, ধর্ম জানে সেই দিনই ছুট নিয়ে গেল জন্মের মতন জননীর শেষ গল্প। You see the misery and sufferings of a mother. She is looking that a lady like me has been harassed by my son. আমার শতপুত্র থাকতেও আজকে আমি জীর্ণ। মায়ের যে যন্ত্রণা, আমার মনে হয়, আমি যেটা মনে যে পৃথিবীর বেস্ট টিচার হচ্ছে মা। তার কারণ মা আমাদের প্রথমে আলফাবেটটা শেখায়, মা শেখায় কম্বিনেশন অফ দ্য আলফাবেট টু হ্যাভ এ ওয়ার্ড, মা শেখায় কম্বিনেশন অফ দ্য ওয়ার্ড টু হ্যাভ এ সেন্টেন্স, অ্যান্ড সেন্টেন্স ইজ এক্সপ্রেশন অফ দ্য মাইন্ড। আমি যখন খিদে পাই তখন মাকে বলি মা খেতে দাও, যেমন রবীন্দ্রনাথ ঠাকুর বলেছেন ওখানে আবার, মাগো আমায় ছুটি দিতে বল, সকাল থেকে পড়েছি যে মেলা, এখন আমি তোমার কোলে বসে পড়বো শুধু পড়া পড়া খেলা। এই হচ্ছে মায়ের রোল। ওমেন ইজ দ্য মাদার, দ্যাটস ওয়াই I put a respect. I will not take much of your time because you will feel bored. What I'll do, I will make a presentation, and in presentation I will analyze one of the novel of Rabindranath Tagore, that is Ghore Baire, how, why we are not able to distinguish. But before that, I will tell you, we are telling so many things, but in reality, we are not doing this, because we are human being, or human species is very, very selfish. They don't want to, give the power to anyone, whether it's a man or a woman. That's the, reason that why we cannot bring the liberty for all the peoples. Men-dominated society, and women are not, but there are the women. Look at Lady Ablabosho, look at other politicians. Madame Curie spent her life for the development of radioactivity, and radioactivity today treatment for the cancer. You see the contribution? You see the contribution of the other woman, Florence Nightingale. Today, how much things she has been given. So let us come to the PowerPoint presentation. I am uploading the things. Let us see what I can do. Okay. Let me see. That's the problem. Let me see. Just a minute. Don't, I'm just, putting the things in. Let me show where it is. That's the thing. Oh. Let me see. Just a minute. Give me some time, because we are sometimes controlled by the technology. We are not controlling the technology. That's a problem. Is it visible? দেখতে পাচ্ছেন সবাই?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যালো।
Sir, yes,
দেখতে
sir,
পাচ্ছেন?
yes, sir.
হ্যাঁ, অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি দেখি একটু যদি F5 করে ওটা বড় করতে পারি, সামটাইমস প্রবলেম হয়। স্ক্রিন যদি না সরে আমাকে বলবেন, আমি আবার
দেখা যাচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ।
এটা ঠিক আছে, বড় হয়েছে তো। ঠিক আছে? দেখা যাচ্ছে এবার? হ্যাঁ? আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। তো আমি দেখুন, আমি পরের পর স্লাইডটাকে দেবো। এই পরের স্লাইডটা দেখা যাচ্ছে কিনা দেখুন তো। দেখা যাচ্ছে?
স্যার প্লিজ ফুল স্ক্রিন করুন।
হ্যাঁ, ফুল স্ক্রিন করে দিয়েছি। দেখা যাচ্ছে এটা? সেকেন্ড স্লাইডটা? ডেফিনেশন অফ এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট।
না স্যার, ফার্স্ট স্লাইডটাই দেখা
It is not
যাচ্ছে।
changing.
হ্যাঁ, জানি। এটাই সমস্যা হয়। আমি যেটা করতে চাইছি দেখি। আমি ওয়ান বাই ওয়ান এই স্লাইড কি দেখা যাচ্ছে? তাহলে আমি পরপর স্লাইড করে দেবো।
ওয়ানটা দেখা যাচ্ছে স্যার।
ঠিক আছে। সেকেন্ড
ওয়ানটা দেখা যাচ্ছে।
সেকেন্ড
ইয়েস স্যার।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে, আমি এইভাবে স্লাইডটা দেখি, তাহলে সব সুবিধা হবে। দেখা গেলে আমি বলছি যে দ্য টাইটেল অফ মাই স্পিচ ইজ টুয়ার্ডস এম্পাওয়ারিং ওমেন নিড অ্যান্ড চ্যালেঞ্জেস। You know that today's internationally they have called about the sustainability, and to me, we have to develop the future woman. Who is our future woman, right? So let us empower that woman, otherwise they cannot develop. And what is the need and what is the challenges, right? Now, empowerment is defined as a process by which women take control and ownership of their lives through the expansion of their choice. They should have given the freedom. Without freedom, they cannot get the ownership. Because if someone is bound in society and he has to find out what is the control by the other people, she will not give the empowerment. Thus, it's a process for acquiring ability to make strategic life choices in the context where this ability has previously been defined. Right? So, women's right is equal to human rights. Women's gender equality in the sustainable development agenda today's gender equality, we have to know the facts and figure. In the business case, we have to think equality means the business, right? Women's empowerment in principles, global impact of the local networking, call to action and engagement of the opportunity. I am fortunate to work all over the world. I have seen, because I was work with the UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Corporation, and I have given to the 7 countries in West Africa and 3 countries in Central Asia. I have seen the misery and sufferings of the women in West African countries. I can share my thoughts, and I have tried to do it this way. You see, the gender equality is a fundamental right recognized by the international human rights treaties and internationally agreed on the documents, including Universal Declaration of Human Rights. International Labour Organization, ILO, declared the fundamental principle of right at work. Sometimes we are not. One of my students make a complaint that she has not getting right. She's in, that railway. That's the problem. The Convention on the Elimination of all form of discrimination against the women. The International Covenant of Economics, Social and Cultural Right, Beijing Declaration and Platform Action, what was, rights of the women and how much power they can be given. While government have the primary duty to protect the human rights, business have the responsibility to respect human rights, including the rights of the woman and the girl. Further, the UN Global Compact and the, women's power, all the business, women empowering power on the call business, called the support to the women's right. The United Nations Global Compact Human Rights and the Labor Principles, and that is controlled by the guiding the principle of the business and the human right. Women's empowerment is a critical driver of sustainable development that today, theme. Empowering women to particularly full economic life in all sectors through all over, all well and economic activities essential, expansion of the economic growth and build up a strong economy. If you don't give the power to women, economy cannot be built up, because as I mentioned, they are just like a zero, they are the operator. Promote a social development and establish more stable and just societies. Improve the quality of life for the women, men, families, and the communities, because We are not taking care of the health and nutrition of a woman. Sometimes they are hiding, and we are, just ignoring. That should be the future woman. You have to improve the life quality as well as the nutrition value. Propel business operating at the goals, enhance the business, performance. Women's empowerment not only development goal but itself, but also a key ingredient to achieving the wide range of sustainable development target. Right, sustainable development target. Just like a trapeze game, someone was catching, someone is jumping. Those who are catching, if you don't, give ability to catch them, you will fall down. So sustainability is that thing. I don't know whether the slides is there, or I can show you the slides later on, that what is sustainable development, what is its meaning. When addressing the global challenges, it's imperative that the particular impact on women and girls are considered, that their talent, skill, and innovation of both men and women leverage bring to the lasting of the change, because they are all equal. There is no difference in talent and skill and innovation. Everything, they are at par with the men. There is no difference. Structural, cultural, and unconscious barriers continue to hinder the women and girls' right and contribution to the economic growth, sustainable development, and business productivity of the performance. Women are underrepresented in power and decision-making role that we have seen. Women receives unequal pay for equal work. I have seen in the rice mills, the tribal girls, Santal girls are working, but they are not paying equally because of the no education. Experiences in physical and sexual violence are not offered the same opportunities in job, education, training, and professional. We are reserving some of the seat. There should be some reservation for the women. It should be a percentage, 15 to 20%. Women are economically disadvantaged and lack of equal opportunity to compete in the business. We are not promoting, women's, incubation center or something like that. Gender equality continues to do under patronize on the, decision maker. Opportunities and risk. If you can do this thing, support the women, hands to the higher return, the reduce, abstention. Address violence against the women, it will reduce the company cost, create diverse workspace, it increase the productivity, invest the women own business, it will give you a higher return on investment, taking advantage of the women consumer power, smart business decision that is coming. Increase women in leader cities had to be organizational effectiveness and prosperity of the bottom line. So these are the opportunities. And what are the risks? Less competitive, legal risk and unlawful discrimination, and lower productivity, miss the opportunity to increase in the market share, less innovation, and reputational risk that we are, opportunities and risk that we are thinking. Sometimes we are also thinking for the, assets and the liabilities. If we take in women's and assets, what is my liabilities? That we have to, account it in terms of the audit and other things. Women's Empowerment Principles is a joint initiative of the UN Women and UN Global Compact. Launching the International Women's Day in 2010, following year-long, international multi-stakeholders consultation is a process. Provided a roadmap for business on how empower women in the workplace, marketplace, and community. Just I am telling you, for your information, in Nehru University, we have developed an incubation center, and we are encouraging the girl students to come here to develop their own business. Help the companies in the mainstream gender equality through the business operation and the areas for the corporate sustainability. Elaborate the gender dimension and the good corporate citizen, the UN Global Compact business role in sustainable development. What more we can say? Commitment. Leaders' commitment to the mainstream of the gender equality throughout the corporate sustainability and other relevant strategies and operation. Assess. Apply the gender lens when assessing the risk, opportunities, and impact. Define. Apply the gender lens and define the goal, strategies, policy, and matrices. Implement the gender equality strategies and policies throughout the business across the value chain, everywhere. Measure and minor impact of the progress towards the goal. Communicate progress and strategies while engaging the stakeholder in the continuous improvement. What is the circle? We have to start with demonstrate progress, gain recognition, track the progress, replicate the success, defect the gap, and target a benchmark. That circle has to flow to develop a girl child to a responsible global, entrepreneur citizen. What more you can be? Woman is economically empowered when she has both the ability to succeed and advancement economically and the power to make and act as an economic decision. To succeed and advance economically, women need the skill and resources to complete the market as well as the fair and equal access to the economic institution and organization. To have the power and agency to benefit from the economic activities, women need to have the ability to make the act and decision control resource over the profit. Look at the right side, power and agency, right, and economic advancement. Control of the share of the resources, definite of the make and choices, economic success, and economic gain. If you can do this circle, I'm sure that women will get much more empowerment, not anywhere in the kingdom. Women empowerment, even framework, that material change, right? There are the income, there are the resources, there are the basic need, there are the earning capacity, relational change, the decision making, the participation in self-reliances, conceptual or perpetual changes, and the cognitive changes. That this is the knowledge, the skill, the awareness, the self-assessment, the self-confidence, the vision of the future. There's so many things we have to. Now, why we are not able to do? Because there are some limitations, and one of the limitations has been presented by Rabindranath Tagore, which is his best novel. To me, I have analysis. It's also come in cinema. Ghore Baire. Let us see here what he has told. The home and the world. You can see a lady is coming out from the hold. Is she able to see the world? The answer is no. Why? Let us go one by one. Why he is not? I am paying respect to Tagore because, to give a slide that he born in 7th May 1861, died in 7th August 1941. The first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913, and she presented this one. Highly influenced and, introducing the authentically of Indian culture of women, culture and vice versa, involved in reshaping the literature, music, Indian art through the contextual modernism, humanities, universalist, internationalist at the strident nations, spurned with rigid classical forms of Bengali writing by using a new form of prose writing and use the colloquial language. This is contribution, right? See what more he has done. The novel, The Home and the World, it was published in 1915, Ghore Baire. A literal translation, home and outside, denotes the most secular problem for Bimala, because there are three characters, Bimala, Nikhilesh, and Sandeep, right? Three characters, and Bimala in between them. Someone is saying something, someone is no, don't go this thing. The battle between the self-belief and conflicting tradition. Three main characteristics, Bimala, Nikhilesh, and Sandeep. Love triangle with each other. Characteristics, narrating the novel through the first person of narrative and directing interpretive. Set the early 20th century against the backdrop of the Indian independence movement and why women are not allowed it to men. That was, it's given, but problem was that thing. Swadeshi movement has been started, and there is an example. The new spirit of India arose the national reaction in 1905 when the partition of Bengal by Lord Curzon, which separated by Hindu and Muslim in different geographical areas through the dissatisfaction with the law. Both religions are unified to create a Swadeshi movement. That was the aim to the remove of the British imperial control over the India and its citizen wanted East India Company rule, then British Raj. Discontent with the representation of the Indian people within the government, engagement of the people to boycotting the British product, entitling the revival for the domestic good. I'm giving an example. He has given that some of the that the village, particularly the village seller, they purchase that sarees from some other places and come to the fair or in the hut to sell it, and they get a 15 to 20% commission. But Swadeshi Andolan burned them Is it a Swadeshi Andolan? Is it a good for the people? That question raised by the Rabindranath Tagore, and he is not agree with all these things. And that's why I think Tagore Socrates movement. During this movement, in the early period, Tagore was a enthusiastic advocate. He wrote songs that served to inspire and encourage the people of Bengal to join the causes. However, as the movement spread and become more ridiculed, and Tagore became a still discipline and glorification of the violence as a means to end the cause. To many of the self-criticized and entitled radicals react to the movement. He has not he has not supported all these things, the destruction. In 1915, Tagore has become a staunch opponent to the Indian nationalist movement when he see that the poor peoples are affected for the doing, but this is not the way. The movement, equal rights, something like that. In 1917, a series of the lecture published by the Rabindranath Tagore Nationalism, London, Macmillan, in 1907, argued that only universal humanitarian or humanism can possibly solve the social problem and lay the heart of the country's misery and political problem that pits the people against each other. That Madam Vice Chancellor has mentioned that women are maimed and marginalized. Why we cannot take out that margin? Why they don't come to the mainstream? That's the problem coming in, Ghore Baire. Mirror of the European novel. The first person, diary-like entities, the themes of the love and betrayal, open love triangle at the core of the narrative and a common trait of the 19th century literature. Right? That was mentioned. The romantic materialism, everything is going on, in the literature that Rabindranath believes in something like that. And can it be said that imperial and colonial control are then embedded within the novel because of the structure and conviction found within us? Does the initial mirroring of the European tradition and the subtlety of the preceded sided with the Nikhilesh or the benefit? You see three characters, Nikhilesh, Bimola, and Sandeep. Nikhilesh is a gentleman, he is a jamindar, and he is controlling the people. Sandeep is a freedom fighter. Sandeep conception destroy everything. Like to control them. Bimola is in between them. Bimola has been sandwiched between this. What is good and what is right? Nikhilesh was, murder. Sorry, Nikhilesh was murdered, when he was going to, stop the violence, riot. And Sandeep was trying to take out Bimola, but when Bimola realized that this is not the way, she realized that women are not giving such type of empowerment to come out from the home. The battle with the fire and the water. Bimola, I'm telling you, beginning the speech, is the moth and the sign her wings in the flame of the unreserved masculinity. Sandeep's eyes burned bright. I could not figure out if it the fire of reverence or the hunger that burned my eye. I did forgotten if he has a lit flame or a human being. His hands are shaking just like trembling flamings, and gauge the estate to me like the spark of fire. So there is a fire, there is a water. Fire is a Sandeep, water is Bimola. Up until then, I had a nameless river of the village, but suddenly, no wiring, the ocean flooded to me. My breast swelled heavily, my banks overflowed, and their own. My waves pulsated rhythm of the ocean's trumpet. Perhaps the woman's nature, we are like a flowing water. When we flow between the two shores, we nurture with all mights, and when we overflow the bank, we destroy and equal venoms. You see, it's a very good statement. When we flow to the two shore, we nurture them. Fertile the land. But when we overflow on the bank, we destroy everything. So woman has two things. And this is represented by two things. Throughout the novel, Sandeep was likened just like a fire and Bimola just like water. How these elements represented the relationship between the two lovers? And can they be seen metamorphical or wider context on the novel? That's the question. Same thing, this has been copied from one of the mythological things, Roti, with Tarakasur and, Kamdev. Same thing has come out, another, literature called Paradise Lost. that is another thing. Same thing happened in Paradise Lost. Let us say one by one. In Paradise Lost, there is a hypnotism indeed. There is also three characters, Adam, Eve, and Lucifer. And this hypnotism indeed a charm which can be subdued by the world. Bees was not conspicuous because she should ashamed the reality to which the men have given the bad name, calling it Saturn, and show it has a stick to the garden of the paradise to guise the snake of the whisper, secret to the ears of the mind, and chosen the consort to make the rebellious. Has the potential for the paradise lost? If so, who is the responsible? Adam, Eve, or Lucifer? Or what has been saved? Who was the saved? How far we can the paradise lost can be seen is a mirror of representations of the Indian nationalism and wavering the potential. To me, it is a shadow where Rabindranath Tagore has presented in Ghore Baire. Look at here, a paradise lost, right? Between Adam and Eve. They are in the garden, but they have been instigated by the Saturn Lucifer to take the fruits of the knowledge tree, and if they take the fruit, they will, because it is a dicey thing. And Eve was do it because Adam insisted. Adam told, and Adam, to satisfy the Adam, she has done it and returned back to this thing. The question was coming out again: illustration versus truth. Visualize the motherland. We must make a goddess of her. Let the devise an appropriate image. Man's goal is not truth, but success. Mind it. That I mentioned is the one. Is the thing that happened truly the truth? What the truth can there be? Now question arises: marriage versus true love versus created love. Because that's created divorce, separation, something like that. How many years, how many ages, aeons must pass before I can find my way back to the day of 9 years ago? How can the little of these two persons who have been together day and night for 9 whole years, how each other? The real fact is that Bimala has only come to my home, not in my life. It was mentioned by the Nikhilaj. It says repent. Because, that's a question out. Why there is a breakage? Why women are not given empowerment? Why they are not happy? Because what is happening is a true love or an artificial love that's coming out in the societal system. The home and the world, they mentioned, I could not think that my house is separated from my country. Nikhilaj's statement. I had robbed my house. I had robbed my country. For this sin, my house has ceased to be mine. My country also estranged from me. I am on the threshold. They all seek reform something outside themselves, but reform is wanted only in one's desire, nowhere else. Nowhere else. That's the statement of Bimola after the Nikhilaj died. Then what more? Woman's position, what was mentioned. In trying to manufacture, helpmate, we spoil the wife. Let me do my worship. Who was stopped me? Was I God for her? Worship I should have given the qualm. She had been hard in every turn and yet had no right to complain. Queen Bee sent me to early morning and I humbly work her to hide, left else to attend the summons. I am a woman. The outside of the world closed me. This is a statement of Bimola. Oh, weak. Oh, the weak. At last, Sundip realized that he is weak before me. Sundip was very elegant, but, in Bimola, he was weak. What I am then? But a meadow flower in the path of a torrent in the flood. We women are sitting there in one side behind the screen. I remember once I told, women's mind are so pretty, so crooked. Given that the Bimolas vocalize in perform on many, stereotype given women, how might this problematic to be mainstream of the modern Western views that oppress the traditionally Indian women under push? Does the novel support the view or challenge it? What is the woman position? That's the question today in Women's Day. By the end of this novel, empowered or free? What you need? Women's Day, it is giving the empowerment or give them the free? That's question. That's logic is coming to my mind, and I am presenting before you. You know, asceticism was a woman. To try to keep Bimala as a garland round in my neck would be meant keeping weight, hanging over the heart. What which before the mystery of her personality about it and was priceless to me was now able to sell it for the cheap. But woman is not only built the way she has a soft and supple, so that she may bend without being crooked. They are the goddesses. To what extent woman is aesthetically for the nationalist communism? What more we can say? Let us go one by one. Indian tradition versus Western modernism that has been compared in that novel. I tell you, Nikhil, the man's history was built up the untitled effort of all the races of the world, and therefore this selling of the consciousness of the political reason, this making the fetish of one's country's own do. I know that Europe does not at heart admit this, but there has some of the right to possess our teachers, men who die for the truth. It will also achieve the impurity and the history of the humanity. Here, in this land of India, amid the mocking of the laughter of all Saturn piercing the sky, may we feel that this truth become a real. What trouble have the being seen that has been brought it in our country from the foreign land? These things which are so simple and ordinary folk get the twisted in the mind of BA or MA, not only propose the, whose history webbed seem to be the torture of the truth. The question is coming out, what issue was raised about the problem for readily testing of the history book? What does it say about the, representation of the so-called third world? Women in the Western discourse, can we not compare? Western, people are more free than that, our case. Let us also check one by one. Nationalism versus rightness, which was the main reason for the, Ghore Baire, and it was mentioned, but it was also this very thing I had robbing of the whole world, not only money, but also trust and the rightness. Why does my country become for once a real mother? The mother care that I mentioned also Rabindranath Tagore's, that Gandhari Abedan, appeal of the Gandhari. The mother's care not for the, mere success, however great that she wanted to give life, to save life. And the very soul today stretched out the hands of the hearing to save the child. Mother in me awake. I mentioned that mother, the absolute, primary and absolute teacher of the life. The day that we seek the good of the country along with the path of the rightness, he who, the greater than our country, will grant us the true frustration. That was a novel. But what is the real sin? I mentioned to you that I was fortunate to work all over the world, and I have seen the misery and suffering of the women. And when we started the work in the rice mills in Bardhaman district, I have seen the tribal ladies are working on the that rice mill, and they have spent day after day to bring their fuel from the the jungle of the nearby the river. And when we have implemented the gasification, from the gasification, this is the situation that after gasification of the rice mills, rice husk, we get a charcoal. And we train the people, train the, tribal ladies. From the charcoal, they give in a fuel, and the fuel is coming out. Why I'm telling you, I'm giving some of the studies and telling you, they take it to their home and get a fuel, which is a smoke-free fuel, and it gives the other known dimension of the life. Look at the lady. She is working here, right? What is the opportunity cost? Can you measure the opportunity cost of that ladies? The lady who is in the town, what is her opportunity cost? You can compare the opportunity cost. She is getting LPG gas, no smoke, nothing else. And here the lady collecting the fuel from the far away of the jungle, burning it for cooking food for her family member, right? So you see how much opportunity cost he has to pay. Then we develop the women ladies, develop the charcoal fuel, and penetrate it. And one of the example, a new thing has come out from that charcoal fuel. We develop a fuel briquette, and it has give a market to empowering this. Example, I was working as a consultant of Imami. Perhaps you know that Imami has a big company, and they have taken when our Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he declared a park called the Charunga Solar Park. It is in Gujarat, Patan district near Kandala Port. And I was assigned to design a 10 megawatt power plant. And it's a very good, and when there's a target that 31st December, we have to complete it. And these ladies are the Sindhi ladies, they don't know Hindi, they don't know English. And I trained them how to connect the things, 48,560 modules they connected. And they are very happy to work there. And ultimately, they helped me to send the power to the Gujarat grid in 30th December in 2010. And that's an achievement, to me, the training of the girl. And without, some of the, conversion they have done. I have also worked in, West Africa. And there is a girl, Alpha Iblin, and he's a mediator, made the communication because their language is Kiro. And I trained them also to have such type of power. What has happened when I was working on, that tribal village in Bardhaman Cordline district, Jhapandaga, there's the Horipur. I have measured, that measurement of what is the impact on the society. I try to measure, right? And measurement is done by the Human Development Index. Human Development Index is algebraic sum of the three components: education level, like income level, and longevity, right? Clean fuel help them to get rid of the disease, because when they are smoking condition, they are inhaling that thing, and they are creating a big problem for asthma. Then there are so many things. Ultimately, they are giving to the birth to the disabled child, and the problem for mother when she has a child. But charcoal fuel saved them, and I have calculated 5 years of studies. I have seen that Human Development Index enhanced from its initial value to 16 to 18% higher. That was a thing. This is heaven. Same thing happened. Same village. We have introduced, the mother and that daughter. They are in a home. Put the solar light to bring them in the real condition. I have not put that thing, but this is the thing. Another thing. Perhaps those who are reading in mathematics, they know the integration. In integration, mathematically, there is a elongated s with a function and variable fx into dx. What is its meaning? You can say it's a very summation, but no, integration has a several meaning. It's an interdependence. Mother is depend on her girl child depend on her mother. Mother showing the path of the light to that girl child, and girl child showing the inspiration, charging the mother that mother, you have to stay for me. So it is an integration, family integration, and it's a movement towards the future. A student is dependent on the teacher, a teacher depends on the student. Without this interdependency, institution cannot be developed. We are thinking about the national integration. Nation depends on the governance depends on the nation. Without that thing, it is not possible to make a national integration. We are thinking, so we have to depend on the ladies has to depend on us. If you can measure the interdependency and give the equal right, I think that will be the success of the Women's Day. Coming to the last slides, you see the condition of the mind represented by the color. When you are deeply involved in work, we use the blue color. When you are comfort, green color. When you are smiling, yellow color. When you are angry, red color. You see in the signal, first they show yellow, then red. Means they are smiling, they stop you, because if you enter in the red zone, you will be in danger. Anger is danger, right? You see the sunflower. If you look at the sunflower, we call the sun seeker. Sun is rotating, sunflower is rotating towards the sun, right? And this smiling face of the pedestal, he was always smiling towards the sun. Sun is emitting all wavelength from ultraviolet to far infrared, all wavelength. Sunflowers smilingly absorb all the wavelength to his pedestal. And what he's doing, taking the sun's radiation, they are generating a kind of the oil that's called the sunflower oil. It's a very good oil, and it's a very healthy oil, the cholesterol-free oil. Teachers are the sunflower. students are the sun. Students tell so many things. They criticize the teacher, they get out the students, they are teasing the teacher, but still teachers are tell how your life become beautiful. If there is no sun, sunflower has no existence. If there is no students, teachers have no existence. So this is a natural integration and sustainability if you can make an integration with one another. I'm sorry that I cannot full screen, but I have completed my presentation and I will be delighted to have, questions from you.
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank
would
you,
like
sir.
my presentation.
Thank you for your wonderful deliberation, sir. It was so motivating. Indrani, are you there? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, in Bengali
yes.
English, I would like to, interact with all your students or teacher or anyone. I have no problem. I love it to have interaction. What is their thinking? And
Sure,
what is,
sir.
that I mentioned to you. You are the teacher. You are the sunflower, and students are the sun. So
Very nicely said, sir. Very nice.
If there is no sun, sunflower has no meaning, right? If there's no, if you are not here, what I will tell? Who I will tell? The room or something else? So we require both. We require interdependency with the teacher and the students to build up a responsible global citizen. Otherwise, it's not possible.
Absolutely, sir. So actually, our students are present in the YouTube. Kopil, can you please check if the students have any queries?
Yes, definitely. If they
Yeah.
have any question, I will forward to you.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
please, Lord.
place one by one? Can you read out the question, Kopil? I do not have the YouTube link here now.
Yeah, I have also the
Yes,
same
I think that will be better. That will be better. Yeah. Kapil, please read out the questions so that sir can reply them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell me, what are the questions? What are the questions they ask me? Please give me the questions and I will give the answer.
Kopil, can you hear her?
Yes, but right
Anybody
now
from our
they have not
teachers?
asked any question.
Anybody from our teachers?
I like to have, because otherwise I cannot reach you. If there is no question, I'm sure that I'm not able to reach you, because
Not at all, sir. Actually, they are attending through YouTube, so that is the problem. They are not directly linked with this, so they are attending through YouTube.
I was delighted to give another lecture in your university, Women's University, when I was, in our Nehru University campus. I like to interact with the teachers and the students, that what to do, because we are
Next
very
time, sir.
local.
Next time we will do it offline.
Yeah. Actually,
Indrani
there
madam,
is
is there anybody from our teachers, from our faculty members, or non-teaching officers?
Amalendu, I know Amalendu. Have you any question?
Amalendu sir is there.
বলো
হ্যাঁ স্যার শুনতে পাচ্ছি, স্যার বলুন।
প্রশ্ন থাকলে বলুন।
না স্যার, আমি যা শুনলাম স্যার, আপনি তো সায়েন্স, সাহিত্য, ফিলোসফি, সাইকোলজি সবই একাকার করে দিয়েছেন, সেই জন্য আমাদের স্যার কোনো কোশ্চিন নেই স্যার।
স্যার আপনি এত সুন্দরভাবে বুঝিয়েছেন,
সুন্দরভাবে এক্সপ্লেন করেছেন, এর মতো আর স্যার এরকম লেকচার স্যার পাই না কোনোদিন। স্যার আমি আজকে আপনাকে বলছি, আমাদের ডিপার্টমেন্টে আপনি গিয়ে একটা করবেন। আজকে সারাদিন আমরা খুব ব্যস্ত ছিলাম আপনাকে পাওয়ার জন্য।
না, কিন্তু আমিও ব্যস্ত ছিলাম। আমার সকাল থেকে আমাদের ওখানে ওমেন্স ডে সেলিব্রেশন হয়, সেখানে আমাকে একটা লেকচার দিতে হয়েছিল, যে আমি বললাম হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ফিউচার ওমেন, ফিউচার ওমেন কারা হবে, ফিউচার ওমেনটা কি হবে, কেমন স্ট্রাকচার হবে, কিভাবে তারা এগোবে ফিউচার। দ্যাট ওয়াজ দ্য টপিকস, দ্য ফিউচার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, আজকে আপনাকে পাওয়ার জন্য আমরা খুব, আমার কলিগস থেকে শুরু করে সবাই আমরা খুব রেডি ছিলাম যে একটু সময় আপনাকে পাবো স্যার।
অ্যাকচুয়ালি সারাদিন ধরো মিটিং থাকে, তো আমার একটা মানে মেরিনের মিটিং ছিল, মেরিনের টিচার এসেছিল, একটা প্রবলেম। ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর ওই ম্যাডাম ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর জানেন হোয়াট আর দ্য দ্য প্রবলেম।
আজকে সারাদিন আমাদেরও স্যার ছিল, আমি ওইখানে করে তারপর আবার ডায়মন্ড হারবার থেকে সোজা মানে অ্যাকচুয়ালি সারাদিন প্রথমে, তারপরে গেলাম বালিগঞ্জ থেকে তারপর আবার বাড়ি এসে এটা, এবং এরপরেও আরেকটা অনুষ্ঠান আছে।
আমি পৌনে 10টার সময় ঢুকেছি, মেরিনদের লেকচার ছিল। অমলেন্দু স্ত্রী আমার ছাত্রী, অমলেন্দুকে আমি চিনি ভালো মতো। অমলেন্দুরা চেনে, অমলেন্দু খুব ভালো মতো, মাস্টারমশাই ভালো মতো চিনতেন আমাকে।
অসাধারণ একটা বক্তব্য আপনি রাখলেন, তার মধ্যে কি ছিল না সেটা বলা সহজ।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
সেটাই।
রবীন্দ্রনাথ যা দিয়ে গেছেন এটা মানে বোঝা অ্যাকচুয়ালি মাদার্স আর স্যাক্রিফাইসিং অ্যানোট। আমি একটা এক্সাম্পল দিচ্ছি আর কি,
রাইট
যে
রাইট।
মাদার্স কি
স্যার
হয়
আমরা
আমাদের
যদি এটা একটু আমরা যদি ইফ ইউ গেট আ রিটেন ভার্সন স্যার, আমরা এটা আমাদের অ্যানুয়াল জার্নালে যেটা বেরোয় সেখানে আমরা এটা পাবলিশ করতে চাইবো উইথ ইউর কাইন্ড কনসেন্ট।
না
এটা
আমি একটা
যদি
আর্টিকেল লিখবো, কারণ ওই যে ভাবনা বলে একটা আর্টিকেল লিখেছিলাম নজরুল
হ্যাঁ
গাছ
প্লিজ এটা প্লিজ লিখুন।
আমরা
হ্যাঁ।
আমি দেখাচ্ছি ভাবনা এই ছিল ভাবনার আর কি। তো সেখানে
হুম,
আমি বলেছিলাম আর কি যে যেটা যে মানে বড় গল্প আর কি, তাতে বলেছিলাম যে মানে ওই ওই বলছে আর কি, বললাম না যে এই মানে আমি পাত্রের মধ্যে থাকবো নিজেকে নিয়ে, এবং সেই আকার দিতে পারে আমাকে শিক্ষা, পরিবর্তন আনতে পারে প্রথাগত সংস্কারে। এই সময় গ্লাসটা বলে উঠলো, ওসব তত্ত্বের কথা ছাড়ো, প্রাকৃতিক নিয়মে তোমরা আমার পাত্রের আকার ধারণ করতে বাধ্য, পাত্র
খুব
ছাড়া
সুন্দর।
তোমার অবস্থান প্রশ্নাতীত। জল বললো তা ঠিকই, তুমি কিন্তু জানো পাত্রের আমি শূন্যতা দূর করে আনি পূর্ণতা, আমার অভাবে পাত্র থেকে যায় অপূর্ণ, তাই আমার প্রয়োজন তুমি অস্বীকার করতে পারো না তোমাদের পূর্ণতার জন্য, তাই বলে আমাকে জোর করো না তোমাদের আকার ধারণ করতে, আমাকে রেখো না অস্বচ্ছ পাত্রে, আনো তোমাদের স্বচ্ছতা, কারণ স্বচ্ছ পাত্রে থাকলে সবাই যেমন আমাকে দেখবে আমিও সবাইকে দেখতে পাবো,
অসাধারণ।
সবাইকে উন্মোচিত হবে আমার ঘোমটা আর বোরখা নামক অস্বচ্ছ আবরণ, ঘরে বাইরে বিমলায় তাই উৎপোষণ করতে পারিনি, তাই তোমার অবস্থান হোক আমার অবস্থান হোক এক জায়গায় এক প্রকৃতির নিয়মে, আমি আনবো পূর্ণতা, তুমি দেবে আমার স্বাধীনতা, যখন শিক্ষার আলোয় আমি পাবো নতুন আকার স্বচ্ছ ক্রিস্টাল, পাবো আমার নিজের অধিকার, বিচ্ছুরিত করব আপতিত আলো, আর তোমার আলোয় আমার আলোয় তুমি হবে আলোকিত, সৃষ্টি হবে নতুন সুর, তোমার আমার সুর মিলিয়ে আনবে সপ্ত সুরে মূর্ছনা, বৈষ্ণব কবির কথায় তোমারও গরমে হামো গর্বিনী রূপসী তোমার রূপে, আনবে শিক্ষা নতুন দিগন্ত, যা ভেবেছিলেন লেডি আচার্য যা অবলা বসু 1919 সালে স্থাপন করেছিলেন নারী শিক্ষা সমিতি, গোড়াপত্তন হয়েছিল মুরুদেহল গার্লস হাই স্কুলের, আজ তার 100 বর্ষ। তুমি বলো না আমাদের কোথায় নারী শিক্ষা সমিতির স্কুলে যারা 100 বর্ষ ধরে প্রেরণা দিয়েছে স্বচ্ছ ক্রিস্টাল সৃষ্টিতে, আপনার ইউনিভার্সিটিও তাই। আমি বললাম ঠিক আছে, আমি তোমাদের কথা বলবো, স্কুলের দিদিমণিদেরকে অনুরোধ করব তোমাদের যেন সবাই তোমাদের কথা সবাইকে বলতে, আর তারা যদি মনে করেন তাহলে 100 বর্ষর স্মারক পত্রিকায় বিচ্ছুরিত হবে তোমার এই স্বচ্ছ ক্রিস্টালের ভাবনা। হ্যাঁ, টাইটেলটার নাম ছিল ভাবনা, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য থিঙ্কিং। হ্যাঁ, আমরা মেয়েদেরকে কি ভাবছি।
স্যার অপূর্ব অপূর্ব সেই।
হ্যাঁ, যাই হোক আর কি, আমি আমার মানে আমি চাইছি ডায়মন্ড হারবার ওমেন্স ইউনিভার্সিটি ফ্লারিশ করুক, যদি কোনো হেল্প লাগে আই উইল অলওয়েজ অ্যাভেলেবল অন সায়েন্স, এবং আমি চাইছি আমাদের সঙ্গে কোলাবোরেটিভ
অবশ্যই স্যার, কোলাবোরেশন আমরা যাব, আমি আপনার সাথে এই নিয়ে একটা মিটিং করব। হ্যাঁ, আমি আপনার সাথে কথা বলে নেবো স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, আমরা অ্যাপ্লাইড ফিজিক্স শুরু করছি, অ্যাপ্লাইড ম্যাথমেটিক্স শুরু করছি, যেটা জব ওরিয়েন্টেড, যেখান থেকে মেয়েরা চাকরিও পেতে পারে। দ্যাট ইজ উই আর অলসো থিংকিং দ্যাট।
স্যার আপনার এখানে তো নিউট্রিশন থেকে শুরু করে সমস্ত রকমেরই আছে, আমরা জানি।
অ্যাপ্লাইড সাইকোলজি, আমাদের কোনো মেয়েদের কিন্তু প্রবলেম হয় সেন্ড দেম,
এমনকি আপনি বোধহয় ক্রিশ্চিয়ানস এর উপরেও একটা কিছু শুরু করেছেন, সেটা দ্যাট ইজ রিয়েলি ওয়ান্ডারফুল। মানে এত কিছু নিয়ে যে কিভাবে মেয়েরা এগিয়ে যাবে সেটা নিয়ে আমরা আরেকটা এর পরের পর্ব করব, এবং সেটা চেষ্টা করব আমরা যাতে এটা অফলাইন হয় স্যার।
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। আমাদের অ্যাপ্লাইড সাইকোলজি ডিপার্টমেন্টে অনেক মেয়ে আছে আর কি, যারা ডিপ্রেস মেয়েদেরকে আমি কাউন্সিলিং করেছি, এবং আপনি জানেন না একটা মেয়েকে কাউন্সিলিং করে যে ফেল করেছিল, সে আজকে বিশ্বভারতীতে এমএ করছে ইংলিশে।
অসাধারণ। ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে,
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
থ্যাংক ইউ সো ভেরি মাচ।
ওকে থ্যাংক ইউ।
ইন্দ্রাণী ম্যাডাম।
Yes ma'am. Thank you so much sir for that wonderful presentation. Being a man of science, your in-depth analysis of literature and thereby analyzing women's life and living in such a manner is really commendable. Men like you, colleagues like you, family members like you do inspire all women to break the bias, the very theme of UN campaign of International Women's Day 2022. Now, I have the privilege of declaring the official vote of thanks. I take this opportunity, and it is my honor and privilege to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Professor Dr. Shuma Bandyopadhyay, for being with us throughout the day and enriching us with her erudite speech. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you.
I also take this opportunity to thank our respected registrar, sir, Professor Dr. Saidur Rahman. He has worked tirelessly in the last few days to make this program a success. Of course, an official thanks to our guest speaker, Professor Vishwajit Ghosh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the Neotia University. Sir, we are really eager to hear from you very soon. Our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kopil Ghosh for his technical assistance. Thank you, Kopil. And also thanks to all my colleagues, both teaching and non-teaching, for their tireless and active support in today's program. A special thanks to our students for their participation. They were there with us in the offline mode, and now also they are with us in the online mode in this wee hour. Thank you all. Madam,
Okay, thank you.
with
Thank you.
your kind permission, I end this program by wishing all a very happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you are muted. Ma'am, you are muted.
I said thank you, Indrani, and thank you, sir, for being with us this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. I will again delighted to
Sure, sir. Looking forward to that moment, sir. Good night, sir. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Good night,
Good night,
Indrani,
ma'am.
and thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good night, ma'am.